What's up? It's Darren Rose. Another beautiful day here in the Silver Lake borough of Los Angeles. Joining me today is a guy I'm going to introduce with a story. Story I just reminded him about upstairs. When I was at 98.7 about 4 years ago, there was a band that we came across called Dead Country, and they had a song called Euro Thrash that I was just absolutely obsessed with. I had it on the local show, the new music show. It got picked up a handful of spins around the country. And flash forward 4 or 5 years till about a week ago, I heard about his new band, Dark Waves, twice, like in the matter of a week. One from Lauren Little of Queen Caveat. The other one I read a mention from Kevin Bronson. Two people I respect hugely when it comes to suggesting music, new artists. You know, all of us in the music business kind of have one or two of those people that we listen to. It's like, oh, who are you listening to right now? So when those two folks told me about this band Dark Waves, I was like, oh, well, who is it? They said Nick Long. I go, who the hell's Nick Long? And they go, oh, he used to be in this other band called Dead Country. And I lost my shit. I said, I got to get Nick in here. Nick Long is hanging out today. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. So let's start. You usually like to start just the beginning, man. You grew up in Santa Barbara.
When I was growing up, there was a pretty cool scene in Santa Barbara. It's like some good punk bands, and there was always something to do musically.
Well, Santa Barbara, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm being naive, kid from Seattle moving down here, but Santa Barbara kind of has that little bit bougier aura to it. Like it's a little bit higher end cost of living. Am I wrong? I mean,
there's definitely a seedy underbelly to Santa Barbara.
Is there really?
Yeah, of course.
What's the seedy underbelly?
No, I don't. I mean,
they do a good job of hiding it.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely a beautiful place. It was a great place to grow up. I don't know. I think like anywhere, maybe if you stay in your hometown, it's a different experience than, I don't know. I reached a point where I was like, I got to get out of here.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's not much to do there, so it's like, I don't want to talk shit
trouble
on my hometown, but it was like, yeah, there's not much to do. So like, you go to the beach and you party and
you find trouble.
Yeah.
Did you find trouble?
Everybody finds trouble.
What kind of trouble did you find?
I mean, the people that I looked up to were like older guys in bands, like there's this band RKL, Rich Kids on LSD from Santa Barbara that me and my friends would just like idolize these guys, and it was definitely, they weren't like a clean cut, straight edge band. So it was like, I don't know, just kind of grew up partying and getting into trouble was fun.
What kind of music were you first influenced by or first heard around the house growing up?
Well, I remember really digging my mom's Tracy Chapman record. Thought that it was a guy, judging by her short hair on the cover of the record.
Aye.
Yeah, but I was really into blues when I was a kid. My dad always played blues in the house.
He was a guitar player?
He's a guitar player. Just like always had like the radio on, either listening to bluegrass or blues. And so I started playing guitar when I was 8.
Wow.
And
pick it up right away, or did you have lessons, or?
I just kind of fell in love with it right away. I tried playing drums when I was like 5. Like my parents got me a drum set, which is a crazy thing to give a 5-year-old kid. And I took piano lessons when I was like 6, but guitar definitely was like an immediate connection. You
were saying that you wanted to get out of Santa Barbara. When did that happen? Were you just out of high school, peace out?
I joined a band right like a month after I graduated high school that was on tour. So that was like, I went and toured for a couple of years. That was my first kind of taste of like really getting out of town. And then when I was 23, I just kind of reached this point where I was like, I need to get out of here now, or like I'm never going to leave this place. And so one of my stepbrothers lives in Switzerland, and I had an opportunity to leave and go there, so I went and lived there for a while.
Oh, high school. Did you play in the high school band? Were you a sports guy, or what was your vibe in high school in terms of activities?
I lived 2 blocks away from my high school, so the activity was like leave school around lunchtime and then just like go to my house. And I don't know, I'd have friends come over a lot, but honestly, you should go to school, but I would just ditch class and like go learn like Suicidal Tendencies solos and play guitar all day.
Okay, so Switzerland seems like a beautiful place. Never been. Tell me all about it. Leave nothing out.
Yeah, it was a beautiful place. Kind of a boring place in some ways. It's like very clean, and like I think the Swiss kind of have a reputation for being pretty like meticulous, kind of cold people. Which I don't.
Did you find that? Was that the case?
I think to a degree, but I don't know. I mean, I was living with my brother who's been living there for like 20 years, and he's married to a Swiss woman, and they have 2 kids. So it was like he owns a skate shop and a snowboard shop, so he's definitely connected in the community. It wasn't like I didn't feel like a total outsider. But
what city was it in?
Lucerne.
Okay.
Which looks like Disneyland, basically.
Yeah, I was going to say it probably looks like just like every picture of Switzerland.
Yeah, it's like your typical Swiss scene.
Yeah, it's expensive country, isn't it?
It's pretty expensive. Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, I mean, you go to McDonald's and spend like $18 on yourself.
Yeah,
but it was hard to find work. It's not like Los Angeles where you can just go to the labor wall at the Home Depot and get picked up.
What did you do for work?
I DJ'd. I played like acoustic solo sets in a bar a couple times. Did some nude modeling for an art class.
Did you really?
I did.
That pays, I hear.
Yeah, it was weird.
You just got to sit there.
I just sat there naked in like an old monastery the first night I did it was Thanksgiving, which was weird. Just like sitting naked in front of like 4 people.
Well, the room wasn't cold, was it?
There was a space heater.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that was good.
Was that something you did kind of ongoing, or was that? Just
I did it 2 times.
Yeah.
I was in a band before I left, and just kind of that was just kind of falling apart. I just wanted to get out of town, so I went over there, and I'd planned on staying over there for like a year or 2, is what I was telling myself.
Mm-hmm.
And after about maybe 4 or 5 months, I started writing like a ton of music, and was like, what am I doing over here? And called a friend of mine who was living back east, a drummer, and was like, do you want to meet me in LA and start a band? So I just flew back and moved to Silver Lake.
Great.
I was in Echo Park, and now I'm in Los Feliz.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Are breakups, like, have they traditionally been a muse for you for writing, or?
I think generally breakups are like, I don't know, any kind of difficult situation I think has always been definitely, inspiration for material to write about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from a pretty young age, it's kind of how I process a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Through relation or through writing?
Through writing, yeah.
Through writing, yeah. What sort of relationships, romantic relationships, have played a role in your life, and how it's affected you?
I mean, when I moved to Switzerland, I was like dating a girl for a couple of years, and it was like band was like falling apart. It was like a crazy relationship, and that was kind of one of those that definitely added to my decision of to get out of the country.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do. I mean, in many ways, without music, I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know how I would. I don't know, like get through the day, but definitely going through like a breakup or like, an uncomfortable situation or, painful situation. I don't know how I would get through that stuff without music.
Yeah. If you weren't doing music, if you weren't writing, performing, creating, what would you be doing? Is there anything that you could imagine yourself doing other than music?
I don't know. I mean, I grew up painting houses with my dad, and I don't know how many times I would be like working alongside that guy, and he would look at me and just be like, I hope you're thinking of what you want to do with your life, because this is not what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've done a lot of like, labor work and stuff like that.
What's the shittiest job you've ever had?
I don't know, nude modeling on Thanksgiving night.
That seems like the easiest job you've ever had.
That was, man, I wish I kept one of those paintings. The shittiest job.
They're probably hanging in the Getty or something right now.
Yeah, definitely. The shittiest job, I don't know. I was customer service for a pretty sketchy like telemarketing company that consisted of like 4 people. And so it's basically people getting ripped off. And once they realized they were getting ripped off, they would call me and scream at me.
Oh, God.
And it was just like
ripped off on?
They were buying listings of pre-foreclosed homes, which was like, it was just a total scam. It was like I will never be involved in something like this again. But it was also, there were 3 guys that lived in the office. There was a guy who was just like a severe alcoholic who would watch that show Jag all day, which is depressing, right?
It's a horrible show.
Right, like USA Network or something. Another dude was just doing like Crystal all day long, which is gross. And then another dude would shoot speed and build model trains. And so this was like, that was the shittiest job I've ever had. Being around, they were nice guys, but it was insane.
Do you have a day job now, like a normal jobby job?
Not really. I'll work on photo shoots sometimes, or like events, doing like production work, which is basically like driving like a big truck around and like moving stuff around. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, right now I'm fortunate enough to mostly just work on music. Like, I'll write songs for other people. I just spent a few days last week in the studio writing for this band, which is fun. I love doing
the co-writing
stuff like that.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I was just saying, it's fun for me to write for other people, because when I'm writing for myself, it's like, I mean, I feel so invested in what I'm doing, of course, and like, you know, it's an emotional process or whatever. And so when I'm writing for somebody else, it's like, I can kind of just go in and write as like a character, basically. And
you
so
step out of
myself and just kind of write more objectively, I guess.
And I know you said that Dead Country was kind of your coming back from Switzerland, your first proper band. Let's pick Eurothrash. What was you said that you were writing songs while in Switzerland with a name like Eurothrash. I'm wondering if that was inspired while you were over there.
Yeah, a lot of those songs were about that time. It was definitely an amazing time for myself, because I had never lived away from Santa Barbara before, and I was like, although I mean, even though I was living with my brother, it's like I'd really removed myself from like my comfort zone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, for a couple months, I didn't write very much, which is weird. I've only maybe done that a couple times since I was a little kid and like started writing music. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just something I had to do, I guess.
Eurothrash. So what was the trigger, the conception of that song?
Just kind of, I mean, basically like, I don't know. I'd been living at home. I was like in this crazy relationship, like, just like, I don't know, just kind of getting in trouble and like partying and whatever. And I wanted to get away from all that stuff, and like went, halfway across the world, and it was like, the same shit basically. So it's basically about that. Just kind of, I don't know, tearing around and like traveling by myself.
The Shade?
The Shade, yeah.
The Shade. What's that one? What were some of those demons? What were some of those things the behaviors that you were trying to change?
Basically just like partying kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to get like too specific about that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah, just, I don't know, shit that I think a lot of people deal with like when they're growing up, that I just didn't really want to do anymore.
Did you, when you put that music out and it's about behaviors you're trying to change, that's always something that resonates with people? Did you find that from kids and people that were listening to your music, like, hey man, I can really relate to this?
I had, probably more conversations with people that I know about that kind of stuff. So like, it was cool to, and with the nude, like dark wave stuff too, to like put this music out and be able to talk about it with my friends who know my story or, don't know specific parts of my story, to just kind of, I don't know, give them like a new perspective.
How do you think that what's changed in your life changed the music? I mean, was that a conscious effort to go more kind of synth pop on dark waves than more guitar rock driven?
Started happening like early on with Dead Country stuff. So like 4 years ago, I guess. And basically like I lived by myself. I would like not leave my house for a few days and like write music and just like stay up all night and make these pretty horrible sounding demos on GarageBand, but they were like I would be playing my first guitar I ever got was like this little 3/4 size nylon, like kind of shitty sounding but like awesome guitar. So like the demos would have like a nylon string guitar and like some synth and whatever stuff I could kind of record in my house, and then I would take it to the band and we would turn it into like a big rock song. And I grew up playing punk rock and stuff, and I love that music and I love playing it. But it was like, I don't know, just after a couple of years of like writing these really mellow songs and then taking them and turning them into this, these big kind of abrasive songs, I just didn't really want to do it anymore.
The basis of who you are as a musician is more in tune with what you're doing now as opposed to what you were doing with Dead Country?
I don't know. I mean, just the demos and like starting to write more, I don't know, like slower and like mellow, some like synth bass kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Basically just came out of like what I was able to make in my house, you know? So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess when you're writing a song and it's like 4:00 in the morning and you're alone, for me, it's
weird
like,
shit happens.
yeah, weird shit happens, and it's like slower and like maybe a little more depressing.
Yeah, with a couple of different people on it. Yeti Beats, for one. How did you hook up with Yeti Beats?
Yeti and I went to high school together.
Oh, really?
So he, so Yeti, Dave, had a band in high school called Slimer, and they went on Warped Tour, and they were like Blink-182.
Okay.
And then he got into hip-hop, I guess, like after high school, and he makes really cool beats, and like he's involved with some really cool shit.
Yeah. And what's the plan from here on out?
We're going to shooting, I am shooting some videos in the next month, and then hopefully start touring in January.
Okay. And who's going to play live with you?
It's kind of been changing a little bit. Like my friend Tommy English, who's been producing the majority of my stuff, has been playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Colin, who produced one of my songs, is playing drums. For another friend of mine, Ian, is playing bass. But it's kind of changing. Like we have a show in a week from tomorrow up in Santa Barbara with this band Joyce Manor that is awesome. And it's like two of the guys can't make the show, so other friends of mine are gonna play.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of interchanging.
Yeah. Where did you record that? The EP?
Kind of all over. One of the songs I did with one producer at a house like in, I don't know, like the hills, Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one I did at my house. Another one we did at Yeti Studio. Just kind of like all over the place.
Yeah. And then how you, I don't know if you're signed or that you have a distribution deal with 5-7.
Yeah.
Which is the Nikki Sixx, the Motley Crue.
Yeah, there's like two labels.
There's 10th Street.
Right.
It's confusing. It's a confusing
it is definitely confusing. Two labels. They have one with like Motley Crue and bands like that, and then there's another one.
It's more alternative.
This more alternative.
How did you go about getting signed right away with just a few songs?
With a producer, and he was meeting with this label, and played them like 10 artists that he had worked with, and he played them one of the songs that he and I had done together, and the label just like loved the song. So
the answer to that is it's who you know. It's always who you know.
I guess so. I mean, the music. You know, I mean,
having good music.
In this case, yeah, it's like they connected with a song that I wrote. So
yeah,
the music spoke for itself.
And that was the Heartbeat and the Soul.
That song's called All Away. But the Heartbeat the Soul, actually, I was living like 2 blocks away from Yeti's studio, and he was doing a song or a couple songs with this dude Trouble Andrew, and who's like an old snowboarder. He's married to Santi Gold.
Oh yeah.
And Yeti called me and he's like, "Yo, do you want to come write a song for Trouble Andrew?" So I went down there and we like wrote the Heartbeat the Soul. Like I played guitar and like Yeti like made a beat and I was like writing the lyrics. And like 2 hours later, like we like had this song and like the dude came down and we're like, "Here, we wrote this song," and I was like hoping this guy's not gonna want this song because like
you wanted it.
I really wanted it. And like luckily he listened to it and he's like, "I don't even want to like fuck this up. It sounds awesome. You should just do it."
And that was
the Heartbeat the Soul.
And that's the song that's
sorry, not the song that the label liked, but they like it now.
Yeah, and that's gotten picked up, right? Didn't that get some licensing or published?
It's been. I mean, Spotify has been like putting it on some of their playlists, which is awesome. So it's like it's on like the like top hits and like new music playlists and stuff like that. So a lot of people are finding out about it through that. I've been looking at Spotify because. All right, so I just put this EP out last week. There's 5 songs, and I mean, I have like my favorite songs on there, and so it's interesting to see. Like, I'm interested to see what people are connecting with, because there hasn't been like a push for a specific single. So like Spotify has been pushing 2 songs basically by putting them on these playlists, but I don't know. I want to see like what people. You know, people I don't know what they like.
Do they give you like real-time reports of here's what's getting spun, or not real-time, but like?
To honestly, maybe I'm not like, I don't know if maybe my manager's in contact with them
Okay.
about that stuff.
You don't keep track of that stuff. Really.
No, but I mean, you can like look on there and see,
It's right there.
you know, how many plays
Yeah.
there are and stuff like that. So I mean, I've been checking in on that just because I'm curious.
You know the reality of what you get per spin. Is it pretty?
I do not.
Yeah. Do you get checks?
Dead Country's been up there for a few years. I've never gotten any money.
Yeah. Because it's interesting because some artists really pay attention to the politics and the you know strategies and what happens in radio. Others don't even pay attention. They're just like, oh, it's getting some radio play. You know.
I pay attention. I like being kept in the loop. I mean, I try not to like micromanage like every little move, but I definitely like to like know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, I'm more focused on the music than what's going on out there.
Yeah. Country, you guys did everything at 606.
I mean, that whole like camp of people is just, they're so nice, and they were so generous with us with, you know, letting us record in there. But yeah, man, it's awesome. I mean, the vibe in there is just like undeniable. It's like so comfortable, and there's like Nirvana stuff all over the place, and like you go, there's like a warehouse area in the back that's just full of gear. There's like a wall of like every amp you'd ever want. So if you're getting guitar tones, you're like, well, let's go check out what we got.
Yeah.
And it's like every good piece of gear you could ever imagine.
Yeah, all the old tour stuff is stashed back there. Yeah, it's really a remarkable place. How did you guys get in there?
A friend of ours was managing us, and she was like dated Nate from the Foo Fighters for a long time, and they have a kid together. So she introduced me to a couple of the guys that work out there, like Lou's the engineer, and Scott Parker's the like studio manager.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, the first time I went out there, we just went out and gave him some money and recorded like 4 or 5 songs.
You had an in, basically. It wasn't like
I didn't like cold call like the Foo Fighters studio and be like, I want to come over.
Well, I want to go over a couple other things before we wrap up. What's your take currently on the LA music scene?
I don't know. It's funny. Before we started the interview, you were asking me about if I listened to the radio, and I was saying pretty much the last year I've been listening to like NPR or like hip hop radio.
Alternative radio has gone much more pop, predictable, but also a lot of the bands that are legacy bands, like you know your Linkin Parks, your Red Hot Chili Peppers, are mixed in with there. So it's kind of has like a whorehouse feel. You know, you have like the old maids that are still coming around, and then you got the young hustlers. You know, so it's an interesting time. But I mean, I think LA is such kind of its own microcosm of the business, you know, and there's so many opportunities here.
Yeah, there are.
Do you go out and see a lot of shows?
I do go to shows. There's so many different neighborhoods, you know, in the city. So it's like, I mean, honestly, I rarely go to shows over in West Hollywood. At like, I'll go to the Troubadour sometimes, but like, I don't know. A lot of the shows, I guess, that I want to see are not happening at like the Whiskey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've been going to Los Globos here in Silver Lake and like checking out. They've been having some really good like hardcore shows.
They do, yeah.
Like this band, Nudes, like a month ago, and like Gag and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Bronx did a CD release party there.
Oh, nice.
A while back. Yeah, I want to go over kind of my final onslaught of questions. We start with some of the basic stuff. First CD that you ever bought with your own money, or album that you bought?
Cassette. MC Hammer.
Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him? Or was it a single?
Jesus. It was the full record.
Okay. What about first live show you ever saw?
I'm told that I saw James Taylor when I was an infant.
Dude, that is... Okay, hang on. My first concert was James Taylor in like 88. So I don't know what it is about James Taylor.
I don't know.
Because you know what it is? It's like that family-friendly artist where like parents can bring their kids.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. I think it was at the Santa Barbara Bowl. I think it was my mom. I don't know if my dad was there. But yeah. I mean, James Taylor, that's some pretty... You feel safe at a James Taylor concert.
For sure, yeah. First instrument?
Drums.
First heartbreak?
I guess I was like 19.
That's all I get, Nick? Is just.
What do you want to know?
I guess I was 19.
I was living with a girl. I was touring a lot, and then we were living together in Santa Barbara. And then like what happened?
Yeah.
I was living with her and her friend, and they came down to LA actually one night to go to like some like 18 and over club. I don't know what it was. And she came back at like 6:30 in the morning, like still like kind of drunk, and like woke me up. And she was like, "We need to break up." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like,
6:30 in the morning.
And she's like, "I fucked somebody last night."
Oh God.
And I was like, "You could have let me sleep in."
Are you kidding
At
me?
least, you know? Yeah.
What a nightmare.
First heartbreak.
So by 8 a.m. were you out? Did you go back to bed?
I was gone immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toughest thing you've ever had to overcome?
That's where I throw myself under the bus.
This is my Oprah moment.
Probably like, I mean, I don't know. I had some struggles with like some partying stuff when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like putting that behind me was tough.
Did you have a drug of choice or a vice of choice?
I don't know. Kind of whatever I could get my hands on.
Yeah. Was that are you sober now?
Yeah, I don't drink anymore.
You don't, yeah. Smoke pot?
No.
Yeah.
I'll have a cigar sometimes. Definitely drink too much coffee.
Yeah. But you, cigarettes? Smoke cigarettes?
No, I quit.
That's good.
Yeah.
So how long have you been kind of off the party scene?
Almost like 7 years.
Is it hard for you to be around it? Is it hard for you to?
No, not at all.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to like a program, or did you just kind of say I've had enough? And
I just kind of had enough. I was actually like living in Switzerland when I quit, but it was I feel like I'm like saying too much right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really. The only annoying time to be around it is like if you're like out at a show or at a bar and somebody's just done like a gram of cocaine and they're like trying to start a business with you and they're like spitting in your face.
Right.
And you're like, get the fuck away from me.
Talking a mile a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is annoying. What was Switzerland a lot of drugs and partying, or I mean, there's that everywhere, but you know,
it's everywhere, but it's not like LA or Santa Barbara or, you know, somewhere over here.
Yeah.
It's a little more subdued.
Yeah. A little about lyrics, because we talked about some of the production stuff that you worked on, or so the making of the Dark Waves music. Outsider. What I guess I'll leave it up to you, because I guess we'll end on that note. I want to leave it up to you. If there's one song that you wanted fans or people to check out that's Dark Waves, that you're like, here's a good example of what we do, what this music is about, which song would you direct them to and why?
The Heartbeat of the Soul is probably my favorite song. I don't know. I mean, lyrically, it's like honestly not as involved as some other songs, but I think just all in all, it's like the best representation of the music.
And what spurred that song? Where did that song come from?
I mean, I had dated this girl for a couple of years. It was just like a, you know, relationship fell apart, and like, I don't know. It's basically just like kind of picking myself up out of that situation. Never should have been dating each other in the first place. It was just kind of like, I don't know, one of those. It was, I don't know. It's like such a weird match. You know, like looking back on it, it's like, what the hell were either of us even doing? Like being in a relationship with each other.
Yeah.
But it ended with like a fight. I got in a fight with like her ex-boyfriend. It was like this like definitely kind of explosive incident.
Maury Povich moment.
Yeah. And that was it. I was like, all right,
I'm out.
I'm out of this.
Yeah.
But
and you're single now.
Yeah.
You date?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? You think LA's a good place to be single?
Yeah, it's great.
It's probably the only place to be single.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Waves, the EP, go get it now. You guys have a, darkwaves.com, right? Or Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
And there's not a lot out there. I mean, you have the music on SoundCloud, tour dates. You have your New York thing, but is there going to be something?
There's going to be more stuff coming up. Really cool, kind of like promo video a couple of months ago that I'm going to put out soon, and then have some more music videos coming out in the next month or two.
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks, Nick Long. This was fantastic. Dark Waves, Dead Country. Check out all the music. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot.
All right.